Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Uh-huh. So come get some. CromCon.
Hey, we want to shout out to our sponsors, Daytona Beach Comic Con. If you are a fan of comic books, if you're a fan of comic book conventions, and if you like meeting comic book creators and getting comics and comic-related stuff, then you need to make your plans to attend Daytona Beach Comic Con. This year's show is September 7th and 8th. Silverline will be there, so you should make your plans to be there too. We'll see you there. If you like comics and find yourself in the Orlando, Florida area, doesn't everyone come to Orlando at some point in time to see the House of Mouse? But when you're here, you need to make it a point to visit Coliseum of Comics, especially the one on East Colonial Drive. They carry Silverline Comics, even a limited edition Coliseum of Comics version of our comics. So, when you go, be sure to ask for Silverline Comics and tell them we sent you. OCD stands for Orlando Collector Deviants. OCD, Steve and Trish, they're a family of geeks who promote geek things, particularly those around the Orlando, Florida area. They're big supporters of Silverline, and we think you should be supporters of theirs too. Go give them some love. If you are an independent comic book maker and you need to get your independent comics made, you need to look no further than Kablam Digital Printing. They print our books, and they do a bang-up job. They're not only trusted by Silverline, but many, many independent comic book makers. Head on over to kablam.com and see for yourself just how easy it is to have your comic printed by them. And tell them Silverline sent you.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
Hi, I'm Barb Kelver, co-host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham. Join us each Wednesday night as we discuss comics, literature, movies, and anything else that may catch our attention.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
Welcome to Silverline Silver Sunday. This Sunday, August the 25th, one day after my young son's birthday, who's not so young anymore. He's almost a quarter of a century. I am Roland Mann. I am your host, and I am, of course, joined, as usual, by that man in the mask guy, Mr. Mike W. Belcher.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
And alongside Mr. Mike W. Belcher is Mr. Conventions himself, Tom Mason.
Hi, everybody. Welcome.
And what happened to her tag? What color is Supreme? Why is that not on there anymore?
Oh, because I didn't get a chance to set it up. So.
we're also joined, as usual, by Mr. Berta Conroy.
Hello.
And, of course, just trying to have a good time, Mr. Thomas Flormonti Jr.
Howdy, good evening.
How y'all doing this evening?
Good.
Excellent.
Tommy, we talked about you a little bit before.
Oh, that's good. I like that. What do we say?
let me move this thing off of Mike's head first. Mike's like, I'm going to adjust this here.
I can just
Otherwise, Mike is going to have to keep ducking down under.
Right, there we go.
Good stuff.
We were just talking about tonight's topic is generated from Mr. Thomas Flormonti. We'll talk about that. Show No-Nos, what not to do at a comic book convention.
Don't show up drunk.
Don't show up drunk.
That's a good one. You show up.
Those of you who are paying attention, get your notepads out and get ready to make a list. We're going to give you all kinds of things not to do. But before we get there, any updates? Anybody do a show this last weekend or anything up to update?
I finally saw the Wolverine movie. I mean, the Deadpool movie.
Wolverine. Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't it. It's a big screen You got to see it on the big screen, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a great movie, but it was fun, and I think if you're a comic book fan, you should go see it at the theater.
But the thing is, so oddly
Worthwhile.
enough, I think it is a great movie. I don't think it's a great movie like Citizen Kane is a great movie,
Right?
but I think it's a great movie to see like on the big screen, and it has all of the stuff that I want to see in a popcorn movie.
Yeah.
It's,
A lot of
it's a popcorn
inside
movie,
jokes and
absolutely.
stuff.
Yeah,
Too.
yeah. Have you
You
seen it,
know,
Roberta?
for actual fan. I said a lot of inside jokes and things for actual fans.
Yes.
Yes,
Which is
there's a
nice.
lot of great fan service.
Yes.
Lots
Yeah.
and lots and lots and lots.
And I think that's some of the issue. Like if you go with someone who's not the ultimate comic book geek, they don't get some of that stuff. They're like,
No, you could. I was giggling a lot of the times, and Renee's like, "What? That
What's
wasn't
so
funny."
funny?
And I'm like, "Yeah, it was."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you have to be everybody's seen it here, right? Mike, you've seen it?
I haven't seen it, no.
I
But
haven't seen it.
as we've said, I don't. I probably won't until it's on some afternoon on cable.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and this is not a spoiler. What I'll say here, because the images were all over the place before the movie, is that when they come walking out and you see Liefeld's little feet or shoes, something like that. Yeah, I can't remember. And that's funny, right? But if you're not a comic book fan, that makes no sense. It's just a store, right? So there's a lot of little things in there like that I think that's funny. A
lot of cool cameos.
Some unexpected ones.
Yeah,
it's funny. There was one who, the minute I heard the voice, I said a name, and Brett apparently had this spoiled for him. He goes, just wait, and then it turned out to be a different character, and I'm like, what? No way!
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I figure if you've seen it, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting
and
there
that
going,
whole scene with that particular character was. Did you wait to the very ending to watch the after?
Yeah, final end credit scene.
Yeah. Where
yeah, they caught it on tape.
Yeah.
On the video. Yeah.
That was so funny. You were just like, oh, Deadpool's just doing his Deadpool.
He lied.
Right? And then at the end of it, it's like, no, he was telling the truth. That was like, that was so funny.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bits that goes sort of unnoticed, and I had to have this pointed out for me, is there's a part where and I'm not going to give too much away, I think, but there's a part where where Deadpool is talking to a skeleton.
Yeah.
And the skeleton looks exactly like it was drawn by John Byrne and Terry Austin.
Oh, I missed that too.
I
mean, I remember the scene, but I didn't catch the Byrne Austin thing.
It looks exactly like a Byrne Austin for that skeleton.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I mean, there was just so many. I can't wait till it actually comes out on something so I could watch it slowly, because it was just nothing but fire, boom, go. Every time you just kind of, after 10 minutes, you were kind of like, no, you got to listen to everything that Ryan Reynolds says, because it's a smart ass remark about something.
It's like a Thin Man movie, right? You can't not pay attention,
right?
And some of the stuff you think is a throwaway, but it comes back later.
It sure does.
Yeah. And so you have to sort of figure out, like, oh, I should have paid more attention because that thing they mentioned 5 minutes ago just came back.
Right.
Yeah. You were Roland. You said that you thought it was a good movie, but not a great movie. I think because of the way it was written, it's a pretty good movie, just for what it is. Yeah.
It delivers on its promise.
Sure does. It's made Disney a ton of money.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's made a ton of money. So I'm not.
And the theater was packed. We went. Well, this is what
ours was not packed.
You're a month.
This was like 10 weeks now after it's been out, and the movie theater was still packed.
Yeah.
And this
ours wasn't packed. Ours wasn't even half full.
Oh no, it was way more. Ours was it was plenty.
Which
bad.
is why I was telling you in that message. Yeah, they probably still have those popcorn buckets there where I went.
No, they didn't have any buckets. They didn't even have any of the alien buckets left.
Yeah, but I go where I go. There's a bunch of old people, so.
Oh
yeah, it's not an old people movie necessarily.
It's not an old people movie.
No, it's like sending old people out to see Porky's.
I mean, don't misunderstand me. I enjoyed the movie, and I've said since the beginning, I think you ought to go see it at the theater. I know I just don't put it in the category of great, but I think it's a good movie.
And the character that you're talking about that we're not trying to spoil for Mike, apparently.
Right.
When you saw him to start off,
Aiden's seen it. He's told me everything.
Okay.
Oh,
we still I mean, it's still a fairly new movie, so let's don't spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it.
It's 6 weeks out. It's not new anymore. You should. I just made y'all not talk about it because I hadn't seen it yet. Anybody else? I mean, most of the time I heard people talking about it, and I had to keep doing this. I'm like, I haven't seen it, but after a month. I can't keep telling people to be quiet. That's not reasonable anymore.
It came out right before the San Diego Comic-Con, and I hadn't seen it yet, and so I had to go through the whole San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, blah 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 blah.
Get people to spoil it for me, or not find out things online. Because I didn't.
That first weekend was nothing but scroll. Get past all the funny stuff. All the YouTube stuff that was just popping up. Well, hey, what's up, Mr. Greg?
Greg Harm says, "Evening. What's up, Greg? Nice of you to stop by. We're going to talk about show No-Nos. I bet you probably got some examples. Please share with us." Timescale says, "Greetings from San Francisco. What's up, Timescales? Thank you for joining us from San Francisco. If you throw a rock north, you might hit Tom."
Also, let me just say that Greg Harms has a great character name. Like you put that in a comic book or a movie, and that's just great. I'm going to steal his name and put it in Greg Harms.
Woodrow says, "Sup, chat? What's up, Woodrow? Thanks for hanging out with us." Woodrow and I swapped some messages too. Pop says, "Hey, yo, Sunday Slammers, not to be confused with Wednesday Whammers."
Wednesday's Whammers, Sunday Slammers.
And he also says, "Hey, if you like what we do and want to join the Madness Network, Madness Entertainment Group, contact us at, there's Pop's information there, or donate at the GoFundMe, lay the foundation for the Meg."
This is for the Roku channel thing.
Yes, for the Roku channel. Yeah. We are still trying to get on Roku, y'all. We just think that would be awesome.
That'd be so cool.
Pops runs a nice comic geek network here that we are happy to be a part of. So Pops probably doesn't get said enough, but thanks for all you do behind the scenes. Thanks for keeping this madness running, sir.
Also, my salary doubles when we go to Roku.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that. That's true.
All of our
I think that's in our contract.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely right.
Cool. Can't wait.
Timescale said Greg Harms is a great name.
Right? You can see that in a Claremont comic or a Doug Mensch comic or something like that.
Yeah. So let's see what else.
You got the books for Kalis 4?
Yeah, Kalis 4 went out to Diamond. It's on its way to Diamond.
Oh, I thought you told me it got rained on. You lied.
Yeah. Well, you just said I got the books.
Yeah, I know. I messed up my own joke. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And the order for Divinity 4 crowdfunders should be placed tonight. So
cool.
All the numbers have been calculated, and so all that be placed. And Mike, I saw Barb just sent me one final thing. It looks like for changes for a correction. I'll send that to you when we're done here.
Good deal.
And that's it for updates. Really, my shipping table is empty. You can't see it, but it's over there, so it's empty. So we need to get some more books to put on there so that we can ship some books out. But let's jump onto the topic. Show No-Nos, what not to do at a con. We have talked about all kinds of things to do at a comic convention, what you should do for a successful comic convention. We've even touched on things to do, like as a fan, right? Things you can do, things you can do and should do as a fan when you're coming up and you're approaching personalities or celebrities or things like that. But Tonight we're going to talk about things you should not do at a comic convention, and let's start off from the creator perspective, right?
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
Yeah. We'll touch on the other
on
side
the
of
fan
the
side,
table
but
a little bit. But let's start as a creator. What should you not do as a comic book creator when you're tabling? What should you not do?
Not ignore the person in front of you.
What's that? Do what?
Don't ignore the person in front of you. Person looking at your books.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've talked about that before. I don't know how it's going to show up here on my camera, but don't let this be what everyone sees when they walk by your table, right?
Yeah. If you're an artist in your drawing or whatever, don't do like you do at the house where you're sitting at a drafting table. If you're keep it flat on the table so people can see what you're doing. For one, that'll get them interested. But then, you got to kind of keep that, even if your head might be down or whatever, you got to keep looking out that way just to see if somebody stops or is walking by, not just stops, because you got to flag somebody down if they're walking by. But that's a big no-no, ignoring the people in front of you.
Exactly.
Or being so busy in what you're doing that you end up ignoring the people in front of you. So I guess it's a kind of a two-way kind of thing.
Yeah,
because you're so busy with doing this that you're not paying attention to this.
Yeah, don't try to multitask. Don't.
You're not a Macintosh after all.
Right.
Yeah, you want to. I mean, you want to be able to acknowledge the people who come in front of you.
Well, that's the reason you're there.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and I would say don't clutter up your the back of your booth.
Oh yeah.
Or on the table.
Right, like get yourself organized so that your space doesn't look like your closet.
There's one thing, when unlike going to other conventions and stuff, going to a comic show is kind of like going to a flea market kind of thing. That's that kind of deal. It's got you end up wanting to put everything that you've got on the table,
right?
And because you're like, somebody's going to buy something like you would at a flea market. They got to put out everything because they're trying to make a sale. Well, you don't have to clutter it up so much where the person walking by is, and I'm guilty of that a little bit. I put way too much junk out on the table. It's like
that's why when I go to a show, I like to walk around and like to see what other people are doing for their table setup, and just like make a note. Oh, that works. I like that. I could use
this. Works. This doesn't work. Yeah,
that won't work for me. That I don't have enough product or whatever. Or I like the way they made their signs, or I like the way they got their banner set up. Yeah, I like the way they put stuff out. So that's, I think, taking notes of what other people are doing and figuring out a way you can incorporate the stuff that you like into the way you present your stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Timescale said, that's a good point. I walked by tables at San Diego Comic-Con where people were looking at their phones, so I didn't disturb them. Never even thought about that. Right. Well, and that's it, right? If you're walking by and somebody looks like they're busy, you're not going to, I mean, people are like, they're busy doing something. I'm not going to stop and disturb them. Right?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a time where somebody's going to call and you go, oh, no, that's my wife. I better answer it. But you figure out what it is and then get off the phone. If you're
scrolling through Reddit, you're going to, you're going to lose a bit of sales.
Yeah. And then, and then you're going to lose the opportunity to talk to somebody. And then they're going to say, oh, I saw this creator, but he was on his phone. So I didn't talk to him.
He was too busy facing the other way, playing on his phone instead of.
The other thing that you want is even if you're talking to someone who is not interested in your stuff, they might have come with someone who might be interested in their stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
they'll say,
let me go. I got to go get Jerry. I got to go get Mary. I got to go get Louise. I got to bring them by.
Yes. Because they'll like your stuff. I'm not going to like it, but they'll like it. Right?
I don't like this talking duck thing. So, but I know somebody does.
But I like the talking turtle thing. Where is that?
Right.
Yeah. So I got another one, and I've experienced this, and so I know how irritating it is. When you're sitting up, a lot of times your tables are going to be close together, right? You don't always have much of a buffer. and when you're especially if your tables are really close together, don't put something on the edge of your table that faces
the person
the
next
table
to
beside you.
That's their
Right.
spot. Yeah.
Because I'm sitting there at my table, right? And people are sitting at my table and they look up at the side of your thing, right? They look up at the side of your thing and it's facing them from standing in front of me, right? And then I'm like, yeah, that's not mine. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's not mine. You know.
Especially and you sitting next to it, and it's a big old naked woman, facing your stuff.
Yeah, well, that happened to me before. A guy was.
Did it really?
Yeah, I've done that before for other people.
Yeah, it really did. A guy sitting next to me had this, for lack of really any better word, a softcore porn stuff. Right? Yeah. Where there was a woman with her legs hiked way up in the air. She had a bikini on, but her legs were spread eagle, hiked way up in the air.
Oh, right? She had a bikini on. That's fine.
Yeah, well, but it was facing my table, and of course, you could see the people sitting there looking at me. You can't see my eyes. The people looking at me were like,
"It's like don't buy that guy's stuff." You
obviously looking at that, and I'm
go
like,
to the guy over there and buy it.
It's like that's not mine.
So you want to be a good neighbor.
Yes, be a good neighbor. Absolutely, 100%.
Which also kind of goes on to that is like you kind of know, maybe you don't know, but as when you get there, if it's a 6-foot table, 4-foot space, 8-foot space, don't be like some little snake and set up and then go 2 or 3 inches over your spot into their spot.
Yes.
That is the most annoyingest thing. And then I've many of times, somebody was over in my space. I just pushed their stuff out of the way, and then they look at me. I'm like, dude, you're 6 inches over into my spot. Dude, come on now.
Yeah, and the thing about it is the tables are pretty clear, right? There's an edge to the table.
And then all of a sudden, they've jammed stuff over into your area. It's like
it's not like a long, giant Game of Thrones table that everybody has to share.
We're going to be here for 1 to 3 days already, and you're already pissing me off. Move into your spot. Just stay in your spot. That's
the thing too. Because if it's a big show like New York or San Diego, you're there for 5 days.
Yeah.
And if you've already started fighting on the first 10 minutes,
you got to look at those people for the next 4 days. So
I know.
Well,
I
remember
sometimes those booths don't have spaces in between the tables that you can come in, so you have to kind of do the shimmy shake in between people to get in and out of your space. And
so here's the other one, right? Talking about that, don't be the guy who brings his big rolling art supply table from home. And park it beside you. The only way that you can get out is to walk behind me, right?
Right.
You're like, I got to get behind you to get out. Well, no, you don't. You can move your art supply table, and you can
like if they sit it in between, like if they put like a foot or so in between each table and they stack stuff in the middle there. Yeah, no, that's not your spot, bud. Your spot is that 8-foot table. Come on, let's be fair. Let's be nice.
Yeah, they and they've got all the stuff, all their supplies over to the side of them, which I get it's convenient, but you've blocked your only path out, except for now you got to go behind me, where all my stuff is, and to get out.
So is the better spot the corner spot, or is the better like at the end of the row, or is it somewhere in the middle?
No. Usually what they'll do is they'll put 2 tables bumped up, a little space. 2 tables, a little space, right?
Yeah.
So two tables will touch.
That's a pretty thing that most people do, and maybe there'll be a foot, so it'll be 2 8-foot tables, a foot open, so that way you can squeeze around.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden your neighbor decides to use that foot to display more stuff or to store stuff.
Yeah.
Like, no, don't do it.
Yeah.
This is a no-no show. Remember, we're talking about
this is a no-no show. Or this, right? Be the person behind you who's blocked off everything and they have to come through your banner to exit on your side of the aisle because they can't get out
because they can't go anywhere or now I've been guilty of this before. and I was taught in one show and I've learned my lesson well that we were making banners. And then we were making double-sided banners, right? And when we learned, Barry and I learned a long time ago, make big banners. If you're going to make a banner and you can make a big one, make it instead of 6 feet tall, make it 7, 8 feet tall, make it huge. and then you would have stuff printed on the back of your banner that was 2-3 feet over the person that's behind you, right? So now you go to their spot, and if you're sitting back to back, right, and they have a banner set up, and then all of a sudden their banner is Silverline stuff, and then all of a sudden you see Zomboy Kid Hero across the top of their banner because I decided to go to the ceiling, because most shows will let you go as high as you want unless you're annoying, but usually they want you to stop at 6-7 feet, right? They don't want you to go above that unless you're a t-shirt salesperson. Then you can go to the ceiling apparently. But I learned a long time, because Barry and I did that at a show, and then somebody put, am I allowed to cuss? I can't cuss. We're part of it. I cuss.
No.
It said like kablam something or another, and they put a bunch of dicks, and that's what they stuck on.
Oh no!
If we were there 3 days, it had that written on there.
He's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was so bad. I felt so bad, and they didn't say anything. They were just like, screw those guys. You know, if you're gonna do that, we're gonna. Yeah, I apologize for cussing too.
Making friends wherever you go.
Yeah. So I learned a lesson. Don't mess with the people next to you. Don't get in their spot, and definitely don't do something deliberately that's going to mess with a person behind you that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. Right. Well, it goes back to what Tom said: be a good neighbor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, and introduce yourself. You're going to be stuck together for the whole day or 5 days, 3 days, whatever it is. Introduce yourself. Set up kind of get right.
If you're there by yourself, say you're not going with a buddy or your wife or your spouse or whoever, your significant other, whoever, you're going to have to go to the bathroom at some point.
That's right.
Yeah.
You need somebody to watch your table, or if you're doing panels or whatever, and the show is not one of those shows that will send, a helper person to sit at your table. So you always have to ask your neighbors, like, I'm going to go get something to eat.
Yeah.
Something. Right. Can you watch my table for a second?
And you can offer to pick something up for them, right? Hey, I'm going to get a Coke. You want one?
Yeah.
Woodrow says, whoops, hold on. Woodrow says, for sure, I like the conversations here. Thank you, Woodrow. We have a good time conversating. Yeah, we try. These aren't things I'd even think think about.
Well, when you
make a list now,
you do a couple of hundred shows,
now, right?
you start picking these things up.
Don't set up at a convention without thinking about them.
No.
Well, and that's and the whole point is that collectively we set up at a whole bunch of shows. Yeah. So these are probably not things we thought about the first times we ever. I don't remember thinking about a lot of this stuff. I don't remember ever thinking about anyone's artwork facing my table until I experienced it, and I was like, wait, what the heck? Why are you doing this? I asked the person to take it down, and they did. They kind of grumbled about it, but they took it down. One of the best turnouts I've ever, the time scale says, one of the best turnouts I've ever had at a table was at a con in College Station, Texas in 2009. We had a helper in Princess Leia cosplay and had crowds and way increased sales. Go figure. You had a booth, babe.
That's right.
You had a booth, babe. Yeah, which of course Malibu participated in back in the old days, making that a thing with the.
We would have had the male booth babe too, except that the male superhero costume was so terrible that we had to cancel out of it because we were going to have
like a Prime outfit.
We had a Prime outfit. The thing about the Prime outfit is it looks great in a comic book on a comic book drawing. In a person, on an actual person, you just the second he put it on, it's like, oh no.
Tom just came up with another thing. Write this one down, Barry. Comic costumes that don't work in real life. Mm-hmm. Write that down. We can discuss that one. That was
You called me Barry.
No, did I?
Yeah, you called me Barry.
All right, hey Barry, I'm at Roland.
I was sitting here thinking, wait, does he know who Time Scales is?
I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, Roland. I'm sorry. Yeah, Roland, write that down. Yeah,
I thought he was talking to Barry.
Costumes that do not work well in live action.
Because the other thing about being good neighbors and making friends with the people around you is you're going to find out stuff about other shows.
Yes.
And other convention tricks and tips from them. And you're going to be, and chances are, if you're in the Florida area, you guys are going to see the same guys tabling all the time.
Yeah, we do.
So it won't just be a 2-day con for you. It'll be like, oh, we're going to see those guys next month. Oh no, we're going to see those guys in the fall. Oh no, we're going to see those guys at Christmas.
Yeah.
You're going to be running into the same people over and over again. You might as well at least have a working relationship with them.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you, one of the things I'll do is, particularly if if it's somebody I don't know, I'll say, hey, nice to meet you, whatever. Would you like to swap books? And I'll offer to, give them, a couple of my books maybe, and in return, take a couple of their books. And this way, it introduces me, it gives me a new independent book to look at, to read, and hopefully it does, it does for them as well.
Also, you can flip through the book and go, man, I'm so much better.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's see. Time scale says crossing table spots even by inches is why we used blue low-tack masking tape to show the boundaries. That was a constant
But then
fight.
you got some neighbors that just do not care.
Well, they'll throw their sheet over it, right? And you won't even see the blue masking tape then, right?
I've been to many shows where the person that's sitting next to you just did not care.
The time scale says our cons in Texas allow people to create walls, typically cardboard, to enclose their booth as a standalone cube, and that really helped. And and that's fine, right? If you've got your booth there, but if
on that backside though,
on the backside or the sides of it, if it's pointing to someone else, I'm thinking maybe maybe your neighbors don't like that.
Right.
No, that's technically their viewing area at this point.
Yeah. Here's it. Thomas goes, Thomas is right. Most convention spaces have really high ceilings, so a vendor can make use of the space above and rarely do. Yep.
Yeah,
I like Tommy's new.
They'll have a 8 foot, 10 foot, because you get those poster pirate guys that will do 20 tall posters of stuff, and it just looks like a mess.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Well, then that leads those guys that do that kind of is cluttering up your table. Once you got that much stuff, it's just like I can't see anything but all this mess. It's just too much.
Yeah. Yeah. I've only ever seen one time at one show they had height restrictions. And I can't remember what show this was. It might have been MegaCon, but they had a stick, and they were literally walking around. And if you were higher than the stick,
they would just knock all your stuff down.
Whack. They would come along and they'd put that stick up, and if you were higher than the top of that stick, they made you lower it.
Bring it down. Bring it
down.
I've only ever seen that one time though.
That's pretty hardcore. That's almost like high school rules. That's where
I think that was MegaCon. Don't hold me to that. I it's been several years. Timescale says good fences make good neighbors. Best to make friends with the tables nearby. Absolutely. Yep. Vincent De Leon says, "Sup y'all? What's up, Vincent? Thanks for stopping by, hanging out with us. We're talking about comic convention no-nos." Timescale says the funny thing was that our Princess Leia cosplayer was just sitting there and never said or did anything, and our cells were for Doctor Who and not Star Wars.
But
it's
funny. Most civilian people don't really know the difference between Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who. It's all like one big genre thing for them.
Yes. Yeah.
So, because if you ask one of my parents the difference between any of those things, it's all just one big show to them.
Oh yeah, the time Dr. Captain Kirk was with Chewbacca, right? Yeah, and I remember you watching that.
and Dr. Spock saved the galaxy from Darth Vader.
That's right.
And I'd say if somebody was sitting there with Princess Leia cosplay, they weren't thinking about Star Wars or anything else.
No. No, they were thinking about cosplay.
I think next show I'll bring my Princess Leia bikini costume and see how it goes.
Yeah,
see if we can make some extra money.
Yeah, you do that.
Yeah,
you do that, and we'll be sure everyone who watches this stream sees it.
We'll do live. We'll do live.
I'll want a convention report.
Yeah.
That's right. Timescale says only our booths backed up to the walls were allowed to make cardboard cube, and those spaces were about $20 more for that reason. That makes sense. If they're backed up to the walls, they can go as high, and then the ones out on the floor. I mean, I can remember the days, and you guys can too. I can remember the days you entered into a convention, and you could almost see all the way through to the other wall. It was just people sitting at tables. There weren't any banners.
There wasn't these banners and stuff anywhere.
Yeah.
Now it was really during the early 90s when they started to get taller.
Yeah.
Because people realized, we could get taller. Because we brought in the stack of 20 TVs.
Right.
And really? All the TVs, it was 5 TVs high.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I did a couple of Malibu shows. I don't remember. You need to find us some pictures. I'd like to see some pictures. I don't remember.
Tom's probably got them. He's collecting them for his book.
I got a ton of photos from those days. And then we went to the we had a bunch, and other guys did this too. We had a bunch of these wire stands that you got from other like political conventions or other like knitting conventions and motorcycle shows or whatever that people would get, where they'd have these wire things that would sort of expand like geodesic domes, and you could
what they would do, those banner things,
right? And they'd be like, you could make your own wall, and they'd be like 8 feet tall.
Yeah, we got one at the office.
And they were you could either Velcro stuff to them, or they were magnetic. Mm-hmm. You could put magnetic stuff on the back of them, and so we had those too, and those were great.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That sounds good.
Yeah.
I like that idea. I have to look into those. Vincent De Leon says, what not to do to Comic-Con? How about not insult fans worth woke culture garbage and bring back our real stories and characters with the right gender? Just a thought. Well,
Vincent,
Vincent, what I would say is you need to check out some Silverline Comics. You need to check out some independent comics, because that's where all the energy and excitement and creativity is today. I have spoken. Leonard Pig says there were some artists that would take up extra space if an empty table is nearby. I remember a popular artist known for zombie related work did that and it pissed off another professional. Yeah.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
I have a pretty good idea who you're talking about.
That's bad manners, though. That's
bad manners.
That's bad manners.
That's being a good neighbor.
Now, I at the last MegaCon I attended, which was the COVID con, there was an empty table near me, and I asked, empty tables don't look good at shows. I don't.
Right.
They don't. And I asked the person in charge. I said, "Hey, do you mind if I spread out until this person shows up?
Right.
And when they show up, I will move back." And they said, "No, you go ahead. We'd rather have you there than have the empty table."
Yeah.
Well, the next day they came, because it was a 3-day show. The next day they came back and they said, "Table's yours. They're not coming." And I said,
right.
"Oh, okay then." Well, then I ended up having 2 tables. But I asked the convention people before I spread out.
Yeah.
Well, that's good manners. And that's also another good manner thing is if you don't have enough stuff, ask the guy next to you if they want to split the table.
Yeah. Jeff Whiting and I did that one time in I think in Nashville is where we went. There was a guy who I don't know why there was a table in between us, but there was a guy who was supposed to be in between us, and he was there one day, but then he wasn't there the next day, and then Jeff took the most of it because he had prints and stuff, but I took just a little bit of the space and spread out some.
Because the thing is, if you can get the permission, you're right about an empty table just looks bad. The visuals aren't good.
Yeah.
So.
And people will have a tendency to walk by you at an empty table because it's almost like, when you go to the flea market and there's the busy part, but then you get down to the part that has there's several empty tables. You skip that, right? You're like, there's only a couple of tables down there. I'm not even gonna walk down there. Yeah.
It's negative. It negatively impacts your traffic.
Yeah.
I got a couple of more. You want to hear some?
Go ahead, Tommy.
Don't sit there and have some big Bluetooth speaker thing going on where you're playing loud music while you're
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't. That's a sure way to turn people off when you're sitting there jamming to some music or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Because not everybody wants to hear what you want to hear.
And
Yeah.
they don't-
No,
they
what
don't
are you
wanna see
doing? Are you
dance.
so bored that you're jamming to that's crazy.
Dude, I can't leave my tunes at home. I gotta.
Well,
Be a
you
good
know,
neighbor.
they make these things right here.
The
right?
headphones, yeah. If you want to put, I got some little Bluetooth
if you
thing
gotta have
headphones.
your
If I want to,
Yeah, but that doesn't. Don't you think that looks rude? Because I think that looks rude if you're trying to sell stuff and you got headphones
Yeah, it
in.
looks like
Well,
you're ignoring everyone.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so. But you know, you also they have I mean, you can pull them outside. I can't hear y'all now. You can pull them outside the ears. Tommy's got this cool pair that
that's the bone
the
conductive.
sound.
thing.
Yeah, the sound goes on the bone, so there's nothing in the ear.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
That's cool.
That is
Yeah.
cool. That's how futuristic of you.
I know. I'm cool like that.
Tommy's already in 2025.
I use it for on my biking stuff, so I can still listen to music or whatever, and
So he can
still
hear
not
the
get ran
bears.
over by a car trying to blow their horn at me.
No, that's so he can hear the bears that are chasing him out
That's
there.
true too. That is it. No, you hear too much bring, bring, on your left, as they're trying to.
All right,
pass
we
you
got we got to figure out where time scales is. All right, let's. Time scale says, "Oh, this is what not to do." Okay, I have a great example. Our cons in College Station, Texas, involve a lot of drinking with the midnight viewing of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
No.
Some vendors get trashed.
Oh,
So it's best to
Didn't
stay
many
sober
feel
because
like that.
some embarrass themselves the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to be that drunk guy, right?
the drunk guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that word gets around conventions. Your
Oh.
misbehavior will be seen by a lot of people, and then you'll be the talk of the con in a way that you don't want to be.
Yes. And the industry is so people, I think, forget a lot of times the industry is so small. We
Right.
think of it as like this giant, huge, it's all comic books, but it's a small industry. And where it has a tendency to get around.
Because we like any other industry, we love gossip.
Oh man.
It's like, and there's nothing funnier. There's nothing funnier to tell somebody about than the drunken creator or the drunken retailer or the drunken distributor.
Yeah, because it's a funny story at that point.
A funny story, man. You should have seen so and so last night.
Right? Yeah. All right. Time scales. He says Thomas is right. Our booths didn't allow music being played on the video screens on a low volume. So time scales. It sounds like you run a show.
We need to know. We're ready to go.
Yeah, if you can. Yeah, we're ready to go. Get us there. If you do, what show do you run? We would be interested in knowing that. Matt Knowles, what is up, Mr. Matt Knowles? He says, OMG, Tommy, speaker. He did a show where the 501st was across from us blasting Star Wars music. It was closer to us across the aisle than it was to them. We were having to scream to pitch. Needless to say, we appreciated, we appealed to the showrunner and they dealt with it. Oh my goodness. That is so frustrating.
Kind of
Matt, thank you for swinging by, Matt. Good to see you here.
That's a convention positive too, is you want to have a good relationship with the showrunner.
Yeah,
yes.
So you can go tattle on somebody and not get.
That's right, because they can obviously help you like they did with Roland giving him that extra table space, but they can also shut some stuff down that is annoying everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you want to be. I mean, you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be, like a Karen or a Chad, but you also want to be, have a good relationship.
I went to one show where some guy had it wasn't like a big booth where they were just selling clothes and stuff. He had a damn. I keep cussing too much. He had a darn fog machine back there, and every now and again you press the thing out, and it would go poof out into the thing. It's like, you don't do that.
Don't you realize that fog machine is moisture, and moisture on comic books just doesn't work?
Yeah. Also, people have issues
with a strobe light, a fog machine and a strobe light.
Yeah, strobe lights, fog machines, all that kind of stuff.
Well, it was part of his horror thing.
The strobe machine should be outlawed anyway because that's.
Oh yeah,
I know. I just know.
People have those epileptic seizures during those. Yeah.
Well, I've got a good one. This is more me, but it's both from the sitting behind the table and sitting if I'm the walking around and stuff. I know we're gonna get to that part in a minute, but if you got to eat, that's fine. But personally, I don't like sitting behind the table eating while people are walking by. And then I don't like being a person on the outside walking by. If I see somebody at their table eating, I just keep on walking because I don't want to. I don't want
to disturb lunch.
Yeah, I don't want to. Well, it's like no, it's because I'm not going to sit behind the table and eat. And if I see somebody sitting behind the table eating, I'm just going to ignore them.
also because the thing about convention food is it's almost always greasy.
Oh, it's always bad.
It's always oily, and it's just like I don't want to be touching comics.
Yeah, that's why if I do have to have something behind the table, you Roland, see me. I'll have a slice of pizza, and it'll be like 3 hours old sitting there because I eat one bite and then I put it and hide it out of the way.
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah.
It's better
you got to
if
get
you
something to eat. Go wherever it is that you're getting it and eat it there, and then come up. And drinks and stuff is fine.
Yeah,
if you have some cookies or crackers or something, that's fine.
Little Munchables.
But a full-on salad or something, or if somebody's got big old hamburger with fries.
Would you sign my comic? Oh, sorry. Let me. I got Thousand Island on your.
Well, that's the thing too. If you are going to eat behind your table, which I don't recommend, but if you are going to do it, don't eat sloppy foods like salad or spaghetti or
no.
Just
because that noodle's it's gonna flip. It's gonna fling sauce out on your books.
Right. Or on somebody's white costume.
Yeah. And if you're back there, eating a whole meal, like if you have burger and fries and a drink and all that kind of stuff, I mean, how much time are you going to spend with the people that are walking?
Yeah, that's it. Well, so when we went to when Mike had us up to Pikeville, when we had lunch, do you remember what we did?
Yeah, Mike told us we couldn't go eat, is what he said.
we went out and sat on just outside the door. It was cool. It was comfortable. And we all went outside the door and just sat right out there on the back step or something and ate our sandwiches. I can't remember if it was Burger King or Chick-fil-A or something like that. But we just all sat out there and took 5 minutes and held our burgers and then went back in.
Yeah, like drinks and things, that's fine.
Like drinks is fine. Yeah, I'm going to keep a drink there because I talk
crackers or something, but a full-on meal, no, don't be doing that behind the
table.
Also,
it's I find it kind of recharging and refreshing to step away for even 5 or 10 minutes.
Oh yeah,
and get a little fresh air, get a little distance, and then come back because you've broken up the structure of the sitting behind the booth.
Yeah, and I think for me, part of that as well. I try to go from behind the table to in front of the table. I try not to always just be sitting down, behind the table.
Right.
I'll and plus sometimes, sometimes, not always, sometimes people want to take pictures like, oh, I got the book. Will you take a picture with me? Yeah, of course. Right. Yeah. And, so you're already standing out in front, you can take a picture with them. So I try to kind of keep moving like that. Kyle Schultz says, hello, how's everyone? Hey, Kyle. Good of you to stop by and say hello to us. Oh, here we go. He says, be respectful to your fans. Don't rush them through your booth. They're mostly there to meet people they look up to or admire. I've had many artists, celebs rush me through their booth while getting an autograph. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah. Don't hurry them through. Don't here's your autograph. Oh, thanks for seeing you. Bye. Have a good day.
Also, people, especially on the first, if it's a multi-day show, for the first day, most people are just looking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I would say don't be like a high pressure person.
Yeah. To add on to that, don't be mad because we all hear it. Oh, I'm going to come back, and don't turn around and be rude and say, yeah, sure, you're coming back. They're not coming back, but don't be that guy.
I can whisper that to you, Tommy, who's sitting right beside me, but I'm not going to say that to their face, right?
Right.
Well, I would never get mad at somebody just because they follow the trope. It's just the way it is. Because I've said that too when I'm in Target or Trader Joe's or whatever, and I'll just when I pick up a Costco sample and the guy giving me the sample says, they're right down here this aisle. I said, oh, that's great. I'll go take a look. I'm not going to take a look. I don't care. And so, but I'm not going to.
Don't be upset if you're the person that.
It's just retail. It's not personal.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah. Let them go. Let them spend some money somewhere else. But it's fine.
Wait, I think the thing that Tom said though is that I think that's what you got to keep in mind. It's not personal, right?
No, it's not personal.
They don't know you. What you've done is reached out to them as they walked by,
Right.
and they have
If anything,
decided
we're harassing them as they walk by.
Right.
and they've looked at your stuff and like nothing sang out to them that said pick me up. So they're like, yeah, I'll check it out later. Yeah, of course.
Right.
It's not personal.
I also think that you should reasonably have everything priced on the table, so that way it's not turning into a flea market thing where you're haggling over price.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You know, if somebody buys 2 or 3 pages of things, you know, and they go, well, what's your best deal? If they buy 2 or 3, I'm going to come up with a deal. You know me.
Yeah.
But if they're getting 1 page original art, it's like, you know, it says $100 on there. That thing's $100.
Right.
You get 2, I may, you know, give you a little deal.
Of course. Throw in a comic or something.
Or I may sell you the 2 for $100 a piece, but then there's this page that I know that's never going to sell. I may yank that one out and say, "There, take that 3rd one. Here, take it."
Scum of the earth.
The scum of the earth. Got to get rid of that book that Mr. Tom Mason made me ink.
I didn't make you.
Make you?
Yeah.
You were begging to ink that thing, then, man.
The other thing too is, and I know some people can't do this because everything costs money, but when we had when we were at Malibu, we always had extra stuff. We always had like a postcard or a button or a poster or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you bought a couple of things, we're gonna just throw you some extras, and we're gonna let you know that we gave you some extras.
Yes,
right.
As like a gimme. And so, you know, if you have stuff like that left over from your crowdfunding campaigns or whatever, toss a little extra.
You know, the having things marked too is if you can try to reasonably keep everything marked sort of the same. So, you know, my 8-page comics and then my 20-page comics and my third, I just charged $5, right?
Right.
So I'm not going, this one's $2, this one's $3, this one's $8, this except for
that
the
was
trade.
$4.32.
Yeah. It's like, you know, everything, you know, regardless of what it is $5. There you go.
What I
Except for
appreciate
the trade paperbacks or, you know.
What I appreciate are the people who have the Post-it note on the cover of the books.
Yeah, there you go. It's clearly marked.
It's clearly marked, and that way I know what it is. Before I don't start the conversation with, well, how much is this and how much is that and how much is
right,
this?
because you know, I mean, as the person on the other side, you don't want them to, you see it in their eyes, they really want something, and all of a sudden you tell them and it's like $10 and they go, oh, I thought it would be like a regular price comic, and then they can't. So let them know ahead of time. Let them decide before they ask that they want to pick it up. Let them know how much it's going to be.
Our chat's been real busy, you guys. Agent Cub says, "What's up? What's up, Agent? Good to see you." Timescales. Thomas is right again. Timescales. You're gonna have to stop saying things like that.
It's only going to ruin his head.
That's right. It's only going to.
It's getting bigger.
He says, "I keep agreeing with him. Always have clear pricing so buyers don't feel like they might be. You might be charging them based on how much you think they can pay.
Exactly.
Then
I agree. That's perfect. Yeah, just have it marked, and then that way there's no hassle or haggling going on, and you know you don't feel like you."
I skipped some here. I got to scroll back up here. Time Scale said I was staff at College Station, Texas Comic Con for 9 years in a row. That's what he kept saying. And then also,
you know, it may look like we're at a flea market, but the prices should be marked. It's just easier that way.
Yeah, it is. I mean, think about it. When you go to the grocery store,
you don't want to bring it all up. How much is this?
Yeah, how much is this? How much is this? How much is this? Right?
If I get 3 of these,
you get up there and go, well, you know, I'm buying 5 items. Can I get like something for free?
I mean, you're just not going to get it, right? You're just going to walk past it. That has no price on it.
You know how much it is.
If you buy 5 ketchups, though, you ought to get a discount.
Yeah.
Leonard Pig says, I had a table space at a show across from a Power Ranger. He had a big wad of chewing tobacco and kept spitting into a Mountain Dew bottle between photo ops and autograph sessions.
I guess, don't be gross.
Nasty.
You know,
don't be gross.
Behind the table, don't be gross.
Yeah. That's pretty nasty.
What a great superpower to have.
You can go on a nicotine break if you need to. Get a patch for the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I know that chat has been pretty active. Thank you guys in chat. Keep it up. We'll try to make sure at least everybody gets up there. I know I have skipped some of you, and
well, the cool part that we've gone through so many shows, we've kind of figured things out. Well, maybe we don't do that great of a job, but we try to.
And Pops said, "Sorry, Pops. We always talk about you. We always mention Pops."
Well, and I think a key. Well, we're back to. Are we doing no-nos or positives again? Because I think we switched.
Let's stick with no-nos, right?
All right.
Yeah, let's stick with no-nos. We've talked positives before.
Right.
So what are more no-nos?
For no, don't. If you're there with a group, here's one I was thinking about. It just popped in my head when we were talking. If you're there with a group of folks, you can kind of bum change off of your buddy if you need to, or if you forget your little card swiping thing and let roll in, I have to do it all for you when people want to pay with it. When your signage says that you take a credit card, you forgot to bring your credit card machine. You got to get somebody to ring up something.
Yeah.
But don't be asking your neighbor for change all day long.
Oh my gosh.
Oh God, that is annoying.
So
don't do it.
So all right. So I always take, I have I guess most people do, but I have a little change bag. I have it counted. This is from my retail years, right? I have it counted. This is exactly how much is in the change bag. It's full of, it has 1s and 5s in it, right?
Right.
And has $100 in it. That's what I start off with $100, right? I went to a show. Tommy was there with me, I'm pretty sure. And the guy next to me, 5 minutes into the show, 10 minutes into the show, he handed me $100. He said, "Can you break this?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "Oh, this guy just bought a $5 thing, and I don't have change." I said, "Well, neither do I." So he told the guy.
I think I've deliberately said I have change, but I'm not breaking it. You're crazy.
He told the guy,
You're
go buy something for him for $5 and then come back to me with the change. The guy came to me and tried to hand me the $5, and I heard him. He handed to me that this was the customer, and I just said, "I am sorry, sir. It's the beginning of the show, and I can't break that. I'll be glad to sell you, $50 or $60 worth of content.
Yeah. I'll sell you $95 worth of stuff, and you take that $5.
I can't break that.
All of my comics are $50 a piece, sir.
That's it. All of a sudden,
it's like, oh my god!
So you can have 3 comics for $100.
Yeah. Don't forget your cash bag, and then ask your neighbor to take $100 bill for you.
No,
because that's going to wipe them or break $100 bill.
Well,
you might can do that. You might can do that on the second day, right? And just ask them, "Hey, can you break this?" Right? Because then they've had a chance to make some money. But we were 10 minutes into the show, and I'm like, no, I don't have that kind of change. I'm sorry, dude.
Another thing that I do, Roland knows that I try not to do as much. I've got a bad, I guess, ADD problem or whatever it is. I get bored if it gets slow, and I just want to go shopping, and I'll just leave. And I was like, "Here, watch the table," and I'll just leave. And I was like, that's where I've started bringing my wife to shows and told her to sit at the table so I can go and go shop. Because I if I'm not doing anything, well, I'm always having to do something. So if I'm not doing something, I typically just will drive myself crazy, and I got to get up and walk around or something.
Well, and that's the advantage of you and I doing shows together, right?
Yeah.
Our tables are usually side by side, and me, I love to go to the cheap boxes as well. So, hey, Tommy,
well, we usually do that at the very end. We're not really doing that towards the beginning.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Somebody Bigfoot come in the room? Told you?
No. I saw my door open. I was just making sure.
You want the bargains are always on the last day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Don't run off from your table and be gone for.
Right. Yeah, because people are trying to look for you.
If you got to go to the bathroom or go in the case where we're talking about getting food, you got to go do that. But if all of a sudden you're just going and you just keep going and you can, I had a guy. I'm not going to say who it was. It was a Muppet guy. I love that guy. He kept saying that he was going to go make a phone call, and then he would come back smelling like smoke. I shouldn't be talking because I love that guy. Never mind.
Well,
It's like,
so-
and then finally I go, dude, I know you're going out to smoke. You can just tell me you're going to smoke. It's fine. It's no big deal.
So like we mentioned doing panels earlier. Whenever I do a panel, if there's not someone that can watch my table, I always write a page that says, you know, in a panel back at 105 or whatever, right? When the panel is over. So that way anybody who happens to come by can see, oh, look, he's not here because he's at a panel. Maybe they'll run to the panel. You know, who knows? But
yeah, don't ever put "I'll be back in 10 minutes" sign, because that's BS. Because that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
I'll be back in 10 minutes. 10 minutes from what? What did you? 10
because when how when I'm there, was that 5 minutes ago or was that 2 minutes ago?
Put what time you're going to be back, not 10 minutes.
Back in 5 minutes.
Leonard says, have you noticed there are more people wanting
to
use PayPal or other alternatives at shows instead of cash?
Yeah, I've got a PayPal thing that I use the PayPal payment thing. So it takes credit cards and direct payment, PayPal and Cash App and
you got to have all those
Apple Pay.
Everybody pays. Everybody pays differently.
And it's different every show. One day it'll just be all cash, and then one day it'll just be all credit card stuff. It's never.
And I would say that's probably a no. Not having the not having the ability to take a credit card.
A credit card, you need to go ahead. I mean, what year is this? You need to have a way to take credit cards.
Yeah, because not everybody carries cash.
And people don't think of credit cards as being money. Like if you bring cash and you see your cash dwindling, then you know that you're spending your cash. But a credit card, you're just tapping and going.
I know.
You don't worry about that for another 3 days.
As the guy sitting at the table, it might look cooler to you if you had a wad of cash that you were going home with, and you go, "Oh man, all these credit card payments." And then but no, you got to be able to take credit cards. That's the way it is now.
Yeah.
Because if you're, especially if you're selling some big ticket items,
sure,
people just don't carry that much cash anymore.
Yeah, like selling pages and stuff. Somebody's walking around, somebody's going to come in the show with a couple $100 and they're going to give it. They're not going to give me a couple $100, even though they want the pages, but they'll put it on a card if they want.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I remember when I first did. It's been certainly more than 10, 12 years ago. I was at a show in Memphis. And I was only cash at the time. I didn't have. I do Square, and I didn't have any of that. And the guy picked up. He had $90 worth of stuff. He was a professor at the university, and he was going to take these and examine them for his class, the possibility, because he taught graphic novels there at Memphis State, and he pulled out a card, handed me his card, and I'm like,
what am I going to do with that, dude?
I can't take a card. I'm sorry. He goes, well, he opened up his wallet. Didn't show it to me, but he opened up his wallet. He goes, I don't have that kind of cash. He goes, I'll buy all this if you can take the card. But otherwise, I lost a $90 sale because I couldn't take a card. That very next week, I went home. And I think I probably dropped Tommy an email. Hey, man, what do you use? And he was like PayPal. And so I looked up PayPal and Square, and I ended up going with Square. I think because Square had at the time was a lower percentage.
Right.
But yeah, and so I've been able to take credit cards ever since.
Just smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you just don't want to, like we said, not everybody carries cash, not everybody carries credit cards. So you want to be able to sell to any and all of them, right?
Yeah. Because there's Apple Pay, there's Venmo, there's PayPal, there's 1,000 different formats, and you'll always find a person who is using the one that you didn't think of.
Yeah. I've never had anyone try to actually send me a PayPal at a show. Like, hey, I'll send you PayPal. I guess I could probably do that. Just check my email and make sure I got it, I guess.
Yeah.
But I've never had that happen. Now I've had people say, hey, I'll send you a PayPal and then, that you can mail me stuff out. I'm happy to do that. Right. That's not a problem.
Venmo, all that stuff.
Venmo. Yeah. I haven't done Venmo. But don't forget, Timescale says, don't forget crypto, which many nerds use. Venmo and PayPal will convert. Yeah. Pop says, Please use cash, customers. Taxes are a headache.
Taxes.
Yeah. And then Agent Cub said, "Dang it! I always offer the bargains on the first day. I knew I was doing something wrong."
No, if that's your
thing.
game plan, do it.
Yeah.
If you're just there to move stuff.
So, we sat and spun here for a while. If y'all have anything else, of course, spit them out.
What do you do, Roberta? What is your no-nos?
Was my no-nos? I would say to give someone enough space to look at the artwork before you start engaging, so you can read them, because nothing chases me away further than engaging with the artist before I really absorbed what they do.
Yeah.
When they're completely unfamiliar,
Like you walk by and then they jump on you and you don't even have a chance to.
Yeah, well, it's like I look at one thing and they jump at me. It's like I'd like to, get my bearings.
Yeah.
You shop, really. You're shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I always tell because sometimes folks will come up to the table and they'll just look at the covers, right? Like they're scared to. And I always tell them, don't hesitate to open them up and look at the art if you to see what's inside. The art's done by all different kinds of artists, so they're not all the same. So open it up, take a peek at it.
But if you break it, you buy it.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people are afraid to open them up, though.
Right.
Roberta, just the perfect thing is sitting behind the table. We're basically the fishermen, and everybody, those guys that are walking by are the fish. And you throw your reel out there, and you just kind of don't just start. It's like, feel them out a little bit. Just let them know. Say hi. I always tell everybody, how do you do? How you doing? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
How's it going today? How you doing? Say the same thing, but. Roland and I are annoyed at each other by the end of the show because we say the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah, you guys must have heard each other. You're like bad roommates at that point.
I know. That's what I'm telling you.
Oh, not that story again.
No, we put Jose in the middle of us.
The last time.
Yeah, so he sat between us. And then we still yelled over him, "Hey, bro! Did you see the thing?" And pass up
it's true.
to him and say, "Hey, give this to
they're
Roland."
not coming back.
Like, why don't you guys just get a room? Leave me alone.
Yeah. Shoot, what I was gonna say. I think you have to give the folks at your table a chance to look through your books.
I encourage them to look
I have a second thing to mention.
Yeah.
There's vendors sometimes that really make it hard for you to be curious about their work when they have everything like shrink wrapped.
Oh, that was exactly what I was gonna say. You can't have all your stuff.
Yeah, I really have to stress, if you have your stuff shrink wrapped, have something open that is worthy that people can flip and look through. Because I've done that a lot of times, gone to a table and realized, you guys, I'm not going to buy it with a sticker on it. I'd like to see what is going on.
Yeah. I want to open it. I want to see the inside. Unless you're buying, Spider-Man 121, which is inside. If it's something brand new, don't have everything bagged and boarded and expect me to buy it.
Yeah, because I ran into Bob Chapman at San Diego, and he's Graffiti Designs has published this great big Brian Boland collection of stuff of covers and pinups and posters and some splash pages. All shot from the original art. A lot of the pieces are hand colored or whatever. It's beautiful. It's like 14 by 17 inches or 14 by 18 inches. But it's huge. But the individual copies are shrink wrapped because it's you can't do it. But he had a sample copy. Out on the table that you could flip through and enjoy. And then if you wanted to buy one, then you get the shrink wrapped one that's been untouched by human hands. So that's the way to go for that stuff.
I have seen some creators who bag and board everything, and you're sitting there going, "Well, I want to look inside it. I want to see you. This is a pretty cover, But what is the interior? We all know.
Yeah.
We've been in comic books long enough to know just because it's a pretty cover doesn't mean the inside's pretty as well.
That's the thing too. If you're used to shopping at a retail store, it's not bagged and boarded. It's just on the rack.
No. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I know some, maybe even some of the folks listening to us, some I've seen some indie creators say that when you run a crowdfunder, you should send all your books bagged and boarded. And my thinking is that, I don't buy them that way from the retail store. And I know a crowdfunding is different, right? It's not the same thing, but it's like the retail store doesn't bag and board those for me unless I pay them extra for that. Now we send everything in a bag because we're sending it that way to protect it, right? But we're not bagging and boarding for your collection.
And if they're buying 3 or 4 books, you're not.
I'm sticking all of them in one bag.
Right.
Yeah. I would bag and board for the protection thing, not for the collectible thing, because if you're shipping through the mail, well, we all know that the post office can be.
Oh, they're nice. They're really good.
Yeah. Well, and whoever came up with the Geminis, right? That was a brilliant marketing thing. Yeah. All right. Several comments here. Kyle says I'm too poor to use Venmo. Timescale says we took crypto payments last year for the first time, and it was 8% of all sales, with cash being only 15%. Mm-hmm. Grey Wolf, what's up, Grey Wolf? Glad to see you hanging around with us tonight. Venmo sucks. Someone tried to pay me for a pick through Venmo, and they wouldn't release the money to me. Customer had to cancel and mail me a postal money order. Wow.
What are they Amish? What's a postal money order?
Right?
What is that?
I haven't seen one of those since the 80s.
I haven't either. Agent Cub says I use rod and hooks to get my customer, or rod and hooks
big
to get
net.
my customers.
There you go.
Timescale says, oh yes, do not use resaleable copies of your own work for people to thumb through. Get boogers in and consider those display copies as disposable.
Yeah, those are just promotional copies. That's just
readers' copies.
What you end up giving away to your buddies sitting next to you at the end of the show.
And do not damage items with price tags on the covers.
Oh,
no.
That is annoying.
Have been destroyed like that. Yeah. Yeah. So I put Tom talked about it earlier. Post-it notes. Thank you. Yeah. Post-it notes.
Well, because they're soft tag kind of thing.
Yeah. Pops at the Madness Comic Network says my LCS will bag and board, and anything premium is bagged and boarded. And I guess you don't pay extra for that, or do you pay extra for that? Local comic shop. Yeah. Top goes, I ship comics with a large red sticker that says glass, and USPS never got to fold those.
That's a good idea. That's a pretty funny thing.
That is great.
We got the packages that we get for the label things. It always comes with a big stack of things that have the fragile sticker, so we put fragile on stuff. It's like it's sort of fragile.
Well, it is fragile.
Well, they're in the Geminis. You really got to tear up a Gemini. You got to deliberately try to bend one of those.
Yeah, the Geminis are good.
Yeah, they are. All right. So what about we talked about being on that side of the one side of the table. What about the other side of the table? What are some no-nos on the other side of the table?
Don't stand there and just ramble on.
That was my that was my first one was similar. It's like if you're a cosplayer, which I think we all like cosplayers. I think we all like to see.
I really like it. I like because I think it's cool.
Don't stop in front of my table if it's busy, especially. Don't stop in front of my table to take 15 pictures with the people who want to take pictures of you, because the people who are walking by won't stop at my table and look. I cannot engage them. And you can say, well, you don't know that you would lost sales. No, you're right. I don't know that I would lost sales.
But I know that nobody's.
But you don't know that I wouldn't have got them because you were in my way.
Well, on the plus side of that, I've seen people at San Diego direct the photographers to the end of the aisle. It's like, let's go over here.
Great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I think in the early days, that was more of a problem because people just don't know. Right. But as cosplay has become more of a thing, they've sort of established these sort of tropes of convenience and accessibility to just say, well, let's go down to the end of the aisle.
Yeah.
Where it's you'll get a
around in the front lobby.
There's some
area.
floor room.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, there's floor room. Yeah. And so I've seen that because I agree with you. In years gone by, the cosplayers would sort of gather, and then once one starts taking a picture, then
all the cameras come out.
Right. And so.
And I get it. I understand.
Oh yeah, because it's cool to want to get your picture taken with She-Hulk or the Thing or whatever.
Yep,
but
absolutely.
A no-no with the cosplaying thing is to always ask. Especially if it's you're old guy like me and it's a younger girl or whatever, you just say, can I take a picture?
Yeah.
And if because sometimes they get upset when you pull your camera out and stick it in their face and stuff, like they don't like it. Yeah. I mean, I don't do that. Roland does it.
Yeah.
Going and don't ask me, because I've told people no. Don't if you're a fan walking around and they're trying to stopping to do something. They go, can I put this down on your table while I'm doing something? Like, no, I say, go get that off. No, you cannot. Put it on the floor.
Be specific. Your backpack. Don't put your don't lay your backpack on my table, on my
stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
the other thing is you're sitting there, you've got a drink, right? And I want to take a picture. Don't set your sweaty cup on my table that has paper products on it.
Yeah, don't do that.
We all sound like our dads now.
This is no-nos. Don't do that. Why do you think that's appropriate? Why would
I know these are real problems. It's just that it does.
Get out of my yard.
Don't put that drink down without a coaster.
A big no-no for me, a big pet peeve. If you're not going to buy anything, don't take pictures of my art.
Oh no!
Yeah, I've seen that.
Can I take a picture? No.
That is, if you're not going to get anything, that's cool. Hey, it's you can look as long as you want, but don't sit there through my stuff and take photos. Oh, that's cool, and then that's cool. Oh, that's cool. It's like, well, if it's cool, buy
it. Now, use your eyeball camera. Be done with it.
It's funny because I saw a painter artist. It wasn't, but it was along the lines of like a Dave Dorman, right? And I was standing there talking to him, and someone literally came up and did just that, Mike. They came up with their phone and they just started taking pictures of his artwork, and I'm like, that's not very cool. It's like, don't do that.
What's the point of that? Do you know? Because I can't figure out why you would do that.
You could probably find better images online.
The instance I had is I had done a really quick Ghost Rider, just a really quick pen sketch.
Right.
And I had it laying on the table, and the guy took a picture. I want to have a tattoo like that. He was taking a picture. He was going to take it to base his tattoo off of. It's like, dude, you could at least bought the art.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you know somebody that's got a printing company, if I could just walk around and take pictures of stuff and then.
There you go.
But to me, I understand that it's easy for the person to take a photo of your art to make his tattoo, but it's better for the tattoo artist if he buys the print,
right,
and takes it into the tattoo guy and says, "I want this."
It's much better. You're not going to get a clear shot.
No. Yeah, spend the bucks to get the actual drawing or a copy of the drawing.
The guy that I was saying that leaves every now and again to go smoking, he's people want to take pictures because he's a big Muppet guy, and I mean he's a Muppet. He's one of the Muppet guys, and people will go try to take pictures, and he goes, "This stuff is for sale. You can't take pictures." He'll put his hand in front of their camera, so they can't take a picture.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, this stuff is for sale. If you want this, it's $35. You go, I just want to take a picture. No, it's for sale. You can't.
Wait, I can buy a Muppet for $35.
Yeah. You could. I'll tell you who it is afterwards.
All right,
you know who it is. It's one of the big guys.
This is hilarious. And then says, so much common sense overlooked from both the vendor and consumer sides. Yeah. Nice one, folks.
I think the thing about
this is great. Hang on to that, Tom. He says, if you're going to take a huge amount of photos, no questions asked, cosplay as a group of Japanese tourists with used camera lenses. All right, well, Tom, what was that?
I don't know. I forgot. Oh no, the thing is,
funny, though.
from the other side of the table, if you're the customer, if you're the consumer, in much the same way, if you're behind the table, don't be a bad neighbor. If you're in front of the table, don't be a jackass. And just like, because you're basically at a party, and you really want to be on your best party behavior.
Yeah.
And not your jackass behavior. It's not a toga party. It's not college 1980 anymore. Just try to be a good human.
Yeah, if you're not having a good day, don't start causing a problem that's going to get you arrested. I've seen plenty of cops walk around grabbing people, for they're just having a bad day. So, don't get yourself arrested.
Yeah.
Go to the side. Go chill somewhere. Don't be causing crap.
And read the room.
Yeah.
Look at look at who you're talking to. Look at how they're responding to the way you're conversing or what you're talking about. And if it's not working, move on.
Yeah, absolutely. Leonard,
if I don't cut you a deal on something, don't argue. If you're the person on the other side.
Yeah.
Best I can do, son, is
this is it.
That's right.
Well, blah 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 blah.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
You're not haggling with a car salesman, right?
No. It might look like it, but this is not a flea market. This is not the best best I could do.
Yeah. So I got snubbed by an old school creator at a show when we asked for a selfie. He was part of a duo that created a popular indie franchise. Most are willing to do that, but he refused.
I've got a story about that.
The thing about it is,
that was his choice.
It's his choice. And I'll say that these are not scientific numbers here, but I would say that probably 99% of the creators that you talk to are going to be willing to do that.
Absolutely.
Are going to be willing to take a picture with you.
Yeah.
But there are some of them out there who are just like, no, sorry, I'm not going to do that. And I don't know the answer to that. Maybe move on. Maybe sell all the work that he worked on and find somebody else. I don't know the answer to that. But I think the overwhelming majority of independent creators or comic creators, I should say, are going to be willing to let you do that.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell a story that names names.
Oh.
So it's a good story. I was at the San Diego Comic-Con with my two sons. My two sons were, I think they were 10 and 8 at this time. And a creator walks past us, just shopping, minding his own business. Nobody recognized him. And my oldest son taps me, tugs on my shoulder, goes, "That's Matt Groening. I think that's Matt Groening." And I said, I think it is. And he goes, "I would like my picture with him." And so, I thought Matt Groening it's too big a name.
He's shopping
he's shopping. He's on his own. He's not doing business.
Right.
He's being Matt Groening.
He's just a dude. Leave him alone.
But I also don't want to disappoint my kids.
Yes, right. So,
you gotta ask.
Oh my God, what am I gonna do?
You gotta ask.
I gotta ask. So I walk over to him and I said, "Hi, Matt Groening. I hate to bother you. My kids are big fans and they would love to have their picture taken with you. And I'm expecting any kind of reaction." And Matt said, "Are you going to post it online?" And I said, "No, I'm going to put it in my living room." And he goes, "Well, that's okay then." And so they called the kids over, got a couple of quick photos of them with Matt Groening, and he couldn't. I mean, he obviously didn't really want to do it, but he could not have been nicer and more pleasant about the whole thing.
Yeah,
he went his way, we went our way. My kids talked about that photo forever. They took it to school for show and tell. We met Matt Groening, and then and it worked out fine. We asked, or at least I asked, but I also expect if he had said no, I would have respected the no.
Yeah, because you can't argue with him.
But here's this. Well, of course, we're out of the no-nos now. But this goes right. He took 120 seconds out of his time,
right,
to take a picture with you and look at the great will that he created with your sons, and with you as well. You weren't wanting the picture, but the goodwill that he created with your sons made you float. I'm sure made you float. Would have made me float.
It's still up here on my living room.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So again, I think most creators are going to say yes. you're always gonna.
But that's the thing too. It's not. It goes back to the thing I said earlier. It's not personal. You asked,
right,
which is fine, and they said no, and then that's fine, and then you have to move on. It's not. They're not. It's not no because they hate you. It's not no because you're ugly. It's no because that's them, and it's
And if they say no, I mean,
no means no.
Move on.
No means no.
Quit fighting with people.
Yeah,
there's no reason for you to. That's a big no. Quit fighting.
Also, if you get to the point where the biggest thing you need to have in your life is a photo with Sam Jones from Flash Gordon, you should probably rethink your life.
And he will charge you a lot for
so
it.
much when you don't get it.
Yeah, because he charges $100 for a photo, and so he's happy to take a photo with you.
Yeah.
Timescale says selfies with fans can be some of the best modern social media advertising that any creator could wish for. I agree.
On the other side of the thing, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but of course I did. When I buy Randy Ronaldo's book every year at the San Diego Comic-Con, I get a copy of Rob Haynes' Adventures. He asks, "Can I take a picture of you holding up my book?"
Yeah.
And I'll say yes, and I'll hold the book like this. He'll take my picture and he'll put it on social media.
And then he writes, "Tom Mason says my book is the best."
That's right.
Book
Another happy fan. This is Tom Mason.
Yeah.
And then he's got like 30 people from that day all holding up copies of the comic, and I think that's. But he asked.
I need to get better about doing that kind of thing. I'm not very good at that. I'm just happy to someone has bought a comic and wants to go read it. I'm like, yay! I don't think about taking a picture.
I tend to do that when I do commissions for somebody else.
Yeah,
make them stand there with it for a second.
If
they want to, if they say no, then I don't get upset.
Yeah. But there's local Roberto and his son. Right. Anytime we see them, they always, to my knowledge anyway, they always get something. Whether it's a new book or whether it's a back issue, they always get something, and then they always want to take a picture. And I'm sure y'all have all seen him because he posts them. He posts them in the Ultraverse group. He's like, "Hey, I met Roland today, and my son wanted to talk to him, and here's a picture of us." Right.
Yeah.
And I agree with I think Timescale said it. That's great. It's great social media. Shows that you're out there, and there are some people who like talking to you and taking their picture with you.
Also, I understand the downsides and the upsides, but it's fun.
Yeah, it is.
It is absolutely fun to buy comics, to meet other comic creators, to have your picture taken with them, to hold up their book that you just bought. All that stuff is part of the convention experience.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I agree.
It's not just going to the show, selling a book, and going home. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's the base reason for it all, but that's not all it is.
But and I think it's not all it is because this is something creative. It's not gasoline you're selling, right?
It's propane products,
right? I mean, it's something creative. It's something that ideally, they're going to take home and they're going to experience. Might be the word that I would use. They're going to experience this thing that you've created. So it's part of it, right? I like this. What Pop says. Pop says it's none of your business why no is no.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you just got to move on.
Another one, if you're like an aspiring artist and you're walking around showing your stuff to people, realize that us sitting on the other side of the table, I'm more likely not going to be able to give you a job. So if you give me the stuff to look at and I'm looking through it and I point out a couple of things and I go, this is cool, this is not cool, work on this. Don't stand there for another hour.
Right.
Realize that, I can't give you a job. Take what I've talked to you about and then just don't stand there forever. Right. Realize that you got to read the room, like Tom said a while ago.
Read the room. Yeah.
You're showing everybody your stuff, but don't overstay your welcome. I guess that's rude. I didn't mean it that way, but you know what I'm saying.
Because most of the, especially,
I got to take off a little early.
Okay, Roberta. Well, thank you.
Fun
Good to see you.
Bye, Roberta.
Have a good night. Color Supreme.
Bye, Roberta.
Thank you. I'll put that up next time.
I put that up. Good night.
Indie creators are indie creators for a reason. They're not hiring.
Right.
It's not a job fair.
You know,
Yeah.
I'll look at your portfolio and stuff, but you know, at the point that I've looked through 50 of the pages of Spider-Man skin in there, you know, there's not much more what I can do. You know,
Right.
Yeah. I think some of it is too is that, you know, if you are an aspiring creator, and I guess, you know, everyone has to start somewhere, but understand what's expected of you to bring.
Yeah,
Don't,
you know,
don't bring me a portfolio full of character designs.
Yeah,
I don't want to see it. You know, they may be cool, but I don't want to see it. What am I going to do with it?
You kind of feel bad at being on the other the other side of the table, not the fan side, but what are we calling our side? The side that we sit on,
the retail
Creators?
side.
The retail side, yeah.
Okay.
That the other, you know, they finally they're showing you something. I'm trying to piece this together in my head, make so it makes sense. They're showing you stuff, and you know, and they're like, somebody's finally looking at my stuff, and then we're looking at it, and then you know, 5 minutes into it, I was like, okay, what am I doing? I'm still. But that guy's like, I finally got an artist, somebody that's actually doing comics, to look at my stuff. I'm just not going to move. I'm just going to plant myself here. And
I found a new friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. And you feel, and it's like, you know, okay, it's time to, like the dude that one
part of that is, I think, Tommy, you got to learn to shut the book
and then hand it back to him.
Here it is. Here it is. Put it back in your hands.
You know, I think a couple of times I've passed them on to you. It's like, oh, Roy can hire you.
Yeah. That is a strategy that creators use. Hey, go see that guy.
Yeah.
Right. You know who you should see.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did that at Daytona, where the guy had was pencilers, and I said, "Hey, go! Those guys are pencilers. Go talk to them." Yeah.
And you'll be at Daytona in a couple weeks, won't you?
Yes, we will.
Oh yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Is it 2? Oh,
yeah,
man, right around the corner. Let's see here. Let me. We probably ought to call it a night, guys.
Night.
Let me.
I'm out.
Let's see. Let me run through these last couple of comments here. Timescale says, don't fail to have an old-fashioned business cards with a website and social media contacts. You're absolutely right.
Yes.
We have of course replaced our business card with a Silverline postcard that tells you all about our live stream, and this is where you can find us. So those are on our table.
And have two kind of business cards or things, because you don't want. Sometimes you need to give your phone number out, and sometimes you don't.
You're right, right.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. I have 2 business cards. One you give to.
I don't have my phone number on anything, so nobody can call me.
But I have my email address. Yeah,
you can email me.
How do I bring my idea to Silverline?
He wants to pitch you something.
Oh. I would like to propose a storyline. They told me to you, how would I do it? So in general, we're not accepting any submissions. Who was this?
We're trying to get the ones that we got going done.
yeah, we've got, as you can see behind us, we have a whole bunch of stuff still going on, and we're trying to wrap these up, plus a couple that we're trying to get those done. So in general, we're not accepting submissions, but you are always welcome if you want to send something to editor@silverlinecomics.com. And what I usually try to do is,
what are they talking about? Submissions meaning new stories, or submissions meaning
writing
something?
It sounds like
you're always looking for pencils and color.
Pencilers, yes. If you're a comic book penciler and you want to draw comics, that seems to be the thing we're always looking for here. So that's a little bit different because we have the projects going on. So if you're a penciler and you love what Silverline does, reach out. We will talk.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Timescale says, when someone comes home with a business card in their pocket, they will remember you and maybe look you up online. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then Courtney says, writer, comic penciler, inker would like to show you what I have in regards to my 12 comic book arch. Timescale says, I've got a new friend, a perfect parody by South Park. Kyle Schultz says, Roland, hope you and your team are doing well. I'm doing well. I write for a webcast now. I remember you. I'm a former student of yours, if you don't remember. I do remember, Kyle. Thank you so very much for hanging out with us. You are always welcome. And, of course, you've got my email, Kyle, so you are welcome to drop me a line at any point in time.
Kyle, you can send me a note. I'll give you his phone number.
And if you ever need, you said you write for a website now. I'm not sure what website is, but if you ever need to interview any comic book people, please consider the host of Silverline folks here. I can tell you they're all fantastic people and would be more than happy to talk with you.
Except me, I'm a little cranky.
Yeah. He'll just tell you to get off his lawn. Timescale says, great show. Peace out from California. Thank you for hanging out with us. Appreciate
Mr. Scales.
it.
Good question.
You guys have anything else before I get into the calendar this week? Anything?
No, sir.
We hit it good.
We did. We nailed that topic.
Good topic, Tommy. Glad you were able to. Glad you were able to show, because you were going to be one of my no-show no-nos.
Yeah, I almost didn't. Was unable to make it.
All right, on Tuesday, that Silverline show on Tuesday, they're going to be talking about using comics to cope with mental health. They're going to get serious. The gang discusses how you can use comics to heal when struggling with mental health. That sounds like a cool topic.
Sounds heavy.
Yeah.
Wednesday, the Wednesday Whammers. What's in those pouches? What would you carry in your superhero pouches or utility belt? I may
have to call them on the way done with my bike ride on Wednesday night and join that one.
Next week, are you ready for this one? Stereotypes are good and you should embrace them. Even though we always hear that stereotypes are bad, Roland says writers should embrace them. We're going to have that debate next week from the Silver Sunday team about
I have thoughts.
Stereotypes.
Yep.
Good.
I have thoughts already.
I want to hear them. That's next week. And it's been fun, you guys. But until next week, remember to make mine Silverline. Good night, everyone.
I gotta get a mug.
Where's the button? Where's the button? Where's the button?
We had them on.
Hey, I'm G-Rod. Make mine Silverline. You heard me.